Hands up if you've seen Adolescence. There'd be a lot of people in this room who have. It's interesting because the general consensus around that series is that it was quite shocking. You know, how could a young boy like Jamie end up in a situation where he's harming a girl in his school and taking her life? But actually, for those of us who have been in this world for a while, you know, aside from the fact that you probably have to have some psychopathic tendencies, the way that young people are being influenced and the desensitising and the normalising of violence against women and girls, you know, it's not such a long bow to draw. And I wanted to take you through a day in the life of a boy exactly like him. So at 7:30, he wakes up. He scrolls on his device in his room. You know, there's not a lot of controls on it. His parents think that he's mature enough. He's worn them down and he keeps his device in there. And his friend has sent him an Andrew Tate link, which he watches. Now, many of you will be aware of the rhetoric of Andrew Tate, and it is influencing a lot of our teen boys. But luckily, what I'm starting to hear from them is they are moving away from him. We can talk a bit about why he appeals to them in just a second. Another friend, when he goes to school though, shares a nude with him on Google Slides. They're trying to be really clever here. They know that their school devices are looked at, that there's monitoring, but they think if they use something like Google Slides and then delete that image afterwards, that they're going to get around it. So again, something to reflect on with your current digital resilience strategy. Is that something that you might pick up? So he's being made aware of this Nudify site. He then attempts to search for the Nudify site at school via a VPN. Okay, so he's using a lot of different strategies to try and find out what's going on. Following that though, he finishes school and he's had this crush on a girl for a little while, and she DMs him on Instagram and she calls him an incel, but she doesn't use that word. She uses coded emojis. She uses, I guess, a way that your average teacher, your average parent can't prove is an insult. He's upset, but he doesn't talk to anyone because he's just had a conversation with someone in his school where the teachers said, TikTok is the devil, you should be off social media, I love this ban, you're not going to be accessing this sort of information anymore, isn't that great? And that teacher has shown Jamie that she doesn't understand the environment that he exists within, all right? It's not a strength-based approach, it's a punitive approach. He then joins an online game to unwind. Players there normalise and desensitise him to violence. They use a whole range of explicit language and reward the denigration of women. And finally, he finishes the night with a YouTube video that tells him how real men should behave. That's one day. Times that by 5 or 7 days a week, pretty soon that becomes the way that we think.